Namaskar. I'm so happy for this very important topic to be talking to you about water and why the way that yogis drink water is different than some other people. But many of you are in the category of yogi without knowing it. I'll explain, but let me first tell you that I'm on a Zoom here with Ramesh Dada, who is the manager of our Prama Wellness Center in the United States. A fantastic person and very knowledgeable. So he will be filling you in on certain things, but first I want to tell you that when I was 21 years old, I went to India. I entered into the training center to become a monk, and immediately I got very sick. It was conditions that with which I wasn't familiar. I got extreme dysentery from the chilies, from the water, from I didn't know what, but actually there was another factor which was very important. I'll tell you after a little bit. And that dysentery, that extreme diarrhea, which was waking me up many times a night, making me run to the toilet over and over during all the 24 hours of the day and the night. It went on for 1.5 years. And during that time, I went to so many natural types of doctors to find a cure, and nothing worked. Extreme diarrhea, 1.5 years. It's a little tiring. But I was doing the work and going ahead, whatever, somehow. And then, somehow I was looking again at a book of my master, Sri Sri Anandamurti. And I saw a point which I'd seen before, but I hadn't given it importance. I thought it could never work. And it said, drink a little bit of water very often. And it gave some more points, which we'll be explaining. And within 3 days, the dysentery finished. I was shocked. That was my first experience of how water works. I was amazed, and it's led on to a lifetime of introducing these principles to others. And I tell you, what happened has amazed me for all of my life. In this way, I came to understand why it is different for the yogis and why you are also a yogi in the sense I'm going to talk about. Because there is a principle in yoga that most physical and even most mental problems, diseases, they come from a lack of parallelism between the body and the mind. Now, in the case of the yogi, and anyone, it includes very likely you, who is psychically developed or developing, that means that your mind is subtle and increasingly becoming more subtle, needs to have a body which is also subtle and increasingly becoming more subtle, or there is no parallelism. And thus all the principles of yoga, they're related to that. For example, yoga postures, yoga asanas, the main reason we do them is so that we can do meditation in an appropriate body, in a subtle body. There are many things that yoga asanas cures, specific diseases and so on, but this is directly related, subtle, crude, subtle postures, meditation very subtle. And water is one of those elements. It's so important. That's why we need more water. That's why when you look at various kinds of natural guidelines, they won't give you the same guidelines for water drinking that you'll find in the real depth of yoga teaching. Now, when I followed these principles, everything changed. My body had felt so heavy for so long. I had felt a kind of dullness in my mind, too much jumpiness in the mind. I had certain various levels of frustration. And when I drank water properly, it changed so much of that. And if you're not drinking water properly and then you start to, I guarantee you're going to experience really good things happening to you just like that, physically and mentally. And this is a key in the cure of various kinds of diseases, especially diseases which haunt the intellectually developed society. I'm talking about diabetes, I'm talking about high blood pressure, talking about constipation, which is fundamental to so many things, and diarrhea, women's diseases, the arthritis, skin problems. These things are so common in the modern society, and a big part of the reason is because the people who have it are psychically developed and becoming more so. So to give you more detail, I'll turn it over to Ramesh. Ramesh, please.
Yeah, so when we are drinking water, we basically lubricate the system, we lubricate the digestive system so that the systolic movement of the intestines can work properly. And this is how the body has been designed. And also, when we drink water at the right time, then it is combined with the food and the digestive systems move smoothly. Otherwise, what happens? We become dry and we develop constipation. And constipation is a very serious issue when it comes to developing other problems, because when we are constipated, when the digestive system isn't functioning properly, then the other organs, the liver, pancreas, gallbladder, kidneys, and so on, are burdened with toxins, because the water in our body is necessary to help bring the toxins out from these organs. And even the skin, which we often call the third kidney, is also burdened if we don't have enough water, because we're not sweating properly. And then there are certain toxins that go out through the skin and other toxins that go out through the urine. And so drinking enough water is very, very important so that the skin functions properly and the kidneys are able to function properly.
So you're saying that if there's if the arteries are not getting enough water, then they're going to develop a pressure problem. You're saying that if there's not enough water, that acidity is going to collect in the joints and it can create arthritis. And so many different diseases will come when there's not proper lubrication of the different organs like that. Now, this a major part of the reason why this is happening is because huge amount of the body, it's really on average at least 60% of the body is water, and it's actually more than that for our major organs, for the brain and the heart, for the lungs, for the skin, for the muscles and the kidneys. It's much more than 60%, even it goes up to 85%, in some cases with the brain 90%. Even the bones have a high percentage of water. It's less than 60%. But it's still, amazingly, the bones themselves are 31% water. So it's crucial how we are drinking water. Otherwise, this system that we're explaining today, it doesn't work. And yet, it is not simply the natural system of drinking water, because nature is not something that we're living in nowadays. We're living in very unnatural circumstances, so we need much more water than we needed when we were living like monkeys. In fact, we need more water than other naturopathy systems even explain. And this really works. So here today, we're going to be explaining about what's the total quantity that you should drink in the day. And there's variations from person to person and condition to condition. We're going to be explaining how frequently throughout the day you should be drinking. We're going to be explaining when you should be drinking, because it's not all day. There are certain times that you shouldn't drink, we will be explaining that if you're feeling difficulties to drink enough water, what are some alternatives which are very pleasant and nice, will still work, very similar to water, and we will explain to you a system how you can implement all of this step by step. Ramesh?
The quantity of water, as you're saying, is very, very important. Yesterday I was talking with a friend and he told me that I'm working very hard and so on, and I'm drinking a lot of water. And I said, how much water do you drink? And he said, probably almost a gallon a day. And that is exactly what we are recommending. So I was, very happy to hear that, because he is very healthy, but we need a lot of water when we're healthy. So we are suggesting that when we're healthy, we need about 3 to 4 liters of water every day, and then spacing it out, which we're going to talk about in a little while. And then for people who are not healthy, who have chronic issues or are obese, have weight issues and so on, in order to facilitate that cleansing process, we suggest 4 to 5 liters a day. And then for those people who are suffering from skin diseases like psoriasis and so on, then 5 to 6 liters, even more than if you are having other health issues. And sometimes, many people have both internal chronic issues and skin diseases at the same time. So then in that situation, 5 to 6 liters is the recommended amount.
So that you can activate the skin as the third kidney when the kidneys are not functioning really properly. Anyway, Ramesh, many years ago I would have said, wow, that is a huge amount of water. I know it sounds like very, very much, but the yogis, we know what we're talking about, and we have had tremendous experience with this in our natural healing centers. We get really good results, 90 to 95% success rate, and people's lives are changed, of course, not only by the water drinking, but by so many other factors, but water drinking is an extreme key of it. And everybody who tried to do this, gradually, they loved it. You can almost say they became addicted to getting sufficient water in their body. At the same time, it is a fact that if you drink too much water at a time, you're going to get bloated and you'll have a bad effect. So in general, we should not drink more than 1 cup of water at a time. And for people who are obese or who have heart trouble, they must not drink more than half a cup at a time at any point, so that otherwise they'll have a problem of retention of the water or pressure of the water to their heart, to their organs, and so on. Now, the ideal is, in terms of frequency, that you drink every 15 minutes, in which case you would not drink a whole cup. You would just drink half a cup at a time every 15 minutes. This is perfect. If you don't get the chance to drink that frequently, okay, then you might drink as much as 1 cup, say every 30 minutes, but much better, every 15 minutes, half a cup, half a cup, half a cup, every 15 minutes. Now, it's also very useful. Let's say you're drinking 4 liters of water a day. If at least one of those liters is lemon water with strained lemon juice in the water and just a very touch of natural salt in it to make it more alkaline. And if a person has skin problems or other kind of serious chronic conditions, then instead of 1 liter of lemon water a day, better that there's at least 2 liters out of your total, which is lemon water. So water is great, and lemon water, some of the time, is even better. Ramesh?
And then another very important part of water drinking is when to drink and when not to drink. So, for example, we are recommending, and we have learned that it is much better to wait or to space out 30 minutes before the meal and then an hour after the meal to drink water or any kind of liquid, because when we are eating, the digestive system needs to have requisite amount of acid in the stomach in order to digest the food. And if we are drinking while eating, that will dilute those digestive juices and the digestion will become weaker. So this is a very important system which many people in the modern world are violating, because people are used to drinking even ice water, which weakens the digestion even further during meal. So 30 minutes before the meal and then 1 hour after the meal is very, very important. And so this is the basic system.
So 30 minutes before the meal, you're going to stop drinking water, and you won't start drinking until 1 hour after. And some people ask about soup, Ramesh. What can you say about that?
Yeah, so soup is a very important part of our diet. Liquid food is very, very good, because it is very good for the digestion, but it isn't counted as water. Even though it's liquid, it doesn't have the same cleansing effect as pure water. So even if we are eating soup, we also still need to drink the same amount of water.
Yeah, because the soup, it stimulates our digestive juices. It makes it easier to digest. It means liquidy type food is easier to digest than really heavy food. But at the same time, we can't call it cleansing. So it's the 3 to 4 liters. This is the cleansing drinks. Now, cleansing drinks, I just said. Basically, we're talking water. But, I mean, if it's difficult for you to drink that much water, or you don't even like water in the short run, later it will change. So you can substitute for some of your water, you can substitute coconut water, or you can substitute herbal tea, or you can take pure fruit juice or pure vegetable juice and dilute it with water. The more water and the less juice, the better it's going to be. Or you can take apple cider vinegar in water with a small amount of pure honey. These are water substitute drinks, and they make it very pleasant to drink more water. They make it easy for you to do that.
Exactly. And then there are people, of course, who are sensitive to sugar. Some have hypoglycemia, maybe pre-diabetic or even diabetic. And in that case, what we recommend is that the juice is diluted. So 20% juice and then 80% water, so that the sugar is not going to have a disturbing effect on people with sensitivity to sugar. This is very, very important. So 20% juice and 80% water, and drink it in that way. And then another issue that many people are asking about is alkaline water, which is very expensive. It is not necessary. What is really important is that the water is clean and that it is not distilled, because when you distill the water, you're removing all the minerals which are very valuable to our health. So the main thing is clean, healthy water, and that will do the job well.
That's great. And then you mentioned alkaline, and it reminds me of our next topic. And that our next topic, we're going to be talking about alkaline system, alkaline food. And this is a very much misunderstood topic, and we will deal it next in our next video. We'll make it really easy to understand, so you don't have a lot of stuff you have to memorize or look at charts. It will make it easy for you to implement. We'll explain it so that it's a very effective system for you. Alkaline is not so much important with water, but it's very important with food. Now, what have we talked about today? We've been talking about how much water you should drink, how that varies from condition to condition. We've talked about how frequently you should be drinking water. We've talked about when you should drink water, when you should not drink water. We've talked about the alternatives, and so we've created a system for you that you can easily, gradually substitute more and more real water or lemon water for other kinds of drinks, and you can very slowly increase how much you're drinking every day. You keep a chart. You can increase your water drinking, for example, every day by a half a cup or 1 cup. It's better to have a water bottle in which all the water that you're drinking in the day, or the lemon water also, it's in that bottle. So you know when this is finished, you've drunk 1 liter, and now we start another one. This is all a matter of enabling you to monitor clearly how much you're drinking in a day. It becomes an interesting kind of a game to play, which is very, very effective. So below our video, in the description, there is a link that you can click, and I encourage you to do so. It's going to lead you to an article which is explaining in detail everything that we've been talking about, plus more. And if you click that link, you'll get access to more articles. Of course, all are for free. And I hope that in this way you will benefit maximally from the videos, from our previous, from our present, and from the coming 2-3 videos we're going to have. We will be explaining about a coaching program that we're going to be making, a fasting coaching program that you can join, a 1-week fasting detox program. Everybody will be doing fasting according to their own requirements and needs, and that will be coached by our graduates of our wellness programs who know what they're talking about. We've done this before many times, and now you're going to get a chance within the next few weeks. We will be announcing that clearly. So if you have enjoyed this video, I request it'll be helpful to others if you can like the video, especially if you can share it with friends, so that it will benefit not only you, but them. And particularly, we welcome your questions, we welcome your comments, and we will do our best to reply to those. Thank you very, very much, and namaskar.